I don't even want to hear it. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I got into town late last night at like 9 p.m. and I tried to record in the airport, but somehow the Wi-Fi ate the video. So now we are new day, fresh start. Let's get into it. I'm gonna do my hair at the same time because I today's catch up day. Just getting back into town and uh lots to do. So today I want to talk about something that I've actually been thinking about for a while, but it kind of came to a head this weekend, all of my thoughts, and I thought what a perfect opportunity to talk about it for my video. Honestly, I think this is something that most of us struggle with more than we like to admit. Today, we're talking about saying no, knowing when to say no, and having the confidence to say no. We're also going to be talking about how understanding that sometimes saying no is the best thing you can do. Not for yourself, but just for everybody involved. All right, so let me paint a picture for you. Somebody asks you to be in their wedding party. You're flattered, you love them, and in that moment of excitement, you say yes. But you say yes before you've actually thought about like what it means. Because here's what nobody tells you when you're caught up in the moment. Being in a wedding party has a price tag. We're talking showers, trips, fittings, hotels, possibly flights. And honestly, the expenses continue to rack up until the day of the wedding. They rack up and they rack up pretty fast. Some people spend thousands of dollars being in a wedding party. Thousands. And that's before we even talk about the time commitment. The chats are like ongoing and you just have to like constantly plan everything until the day of the wedding. And let's not even begin to talk about the emotional labor of love trying to keep the bride and groom just happy through it all, right? Now, if you can do that, great. Show up, do your thing, boogie, party the night away. But if you cannot, if the money's not there, if the bandwidth is not there, the kindest thing you can do is say no before you say yes. Not in 6 months when everybody is counting on you. And look, I'm just using a wedding example because it's relatable. You've all either been there or know somebody that's been there. But this isn't really about weddings. This is about every area of life where we say yes when we should be saying no. Because it happens everywhere, right? At work, somebody asks you to take on another project and you say yes, even though your plate is already overflowing. And now everything suffers. The new thing, the old things, and probably a little bit of your sanity. In friendship, somebody asks you to maybe like volunteer, even though you're already running on empty. And then you show up resentful, distracted, and half present, which isn't really showing up at all. In your personal life, you agree to things and commit to things. I'm like using this as a microphone. That's funny. Because what? We don't want to disappoint or let people down. Or maybe we just don't want to miss out. But then what happens? You're stretched thin, you're overwhelmed, you're either burning quietly or letting people down in ways that you never intended. And all because you couldn't bring yourself to say no. Here's the thing nobody wants to say out loud. A yes you can't back up does more damage than an honest no ever would. Okay, so why is it so hard? Why do so many of us default to a yes even when every part of us is screaming otherwise? Fear. I think that's what it really comes down to. The fear of disappointing somebody, the fear of being maybe seen as difficult, maybe the fear that if you say no, you'll damage the relationship. And I do want to validate that because fear is not irrational, right? Sometimes saying no does come with a little awkwardness. Some people will be disappointed, and that's just real. But here's what's also real. Saying yes when you mean no comes with consequences too. Resentment, burnout, showing up halfway and letting people down anyway. Just later and messier, you know? And a lot of us, I'll be honest, I feel like especially women have been conditioned to just say yes. We tie our value, it's almost like we tie our value to our availability. Like the more we give, the more we're worth. Like saying yes is what makes us a good person. And that is such a trap, okay? Your yes only means something when you have the capacity to actually back it up, you know? Okay, and I want to reframe here because I think a lot of us here say no more and think be selfish or stop caring about people. But that's not it. That is not what I'm saying at all. Saying no when it's out of honesty is an act of respect for the other person and for yourself. It's saying, I know what I can give, I know where I'm at, and I care about you enough to be honest than commit to something that I can't deliver. I feel like when you tell somebody no up front, you give them clarity. You just give them a chance to make a different plan and find somebody who has the capacity to move forward without the gap. Now, compare that to saying yes, undelivering. Now they're scrambling. They might be confused, and the trust is just damaged. And then the relationship ends up taking a hit, anyways. Which version is kinder? Okay, practicality. How do you get better at this? One, create space before you answer. You don't have to answer right away. Let me think about that and get back to you is totally acceptable. It's professional, a complete answer. And that pause is where you can get honest with yourself. Two, stop over explaining. You do not owe anybody a detailed explanation or breakdown of why you're saying no. Saying, I'm not going to be able to commit to that is enough. I feel like the more you over explain, the more you're asking for permission to say no. And you don't need permission to do that. Three, get comfortable with a little bit of discomfort because it might be a little bit uncomfortable after. There probably will be an awkward moment and someone might be disappointed, but let it be uncomfortable. It will pass. And you'll be on the other side with your integrity intact and your energy preserved. That really is the heart of it. Saying no requires you to believe that your energy and your time and your peace, those things matter. They have value. But I also feel like a lot of us aren't there yet. We're still operating from a place where we need everybody's approval, or we just feel like we need to prove that we're good enough by being agreeable, by never making anything hard for anybody else, by always being the one that says yes. But think about something for a second. Think about the people that you trust the most, the ones whose word actually means something to you. I'd be willing to bet that those people are not out here saying yes to everything and everybody. They're the people who are clear about what they can give, when they can commit to something, and when they can actually show up. That's what a real yes looks like, and you can't get there until you're willing to say no. So that's what's on my mind today. We just have to get better at this. Not because we don't care about people, but because we do. Because showing up halfway isn't really showing up at all. But also because your yes should mean something. Okay, so think about something. Just think about something for a second for me. Think about something in your life where you recently said yes when you should have said no. What would it look like to be honest with yourself first and then whoever needs to hear it? You don't have to do everything. You don't have to be everywhere. You just have to be real about what you can actually give. So that is it for this week's Megan Monday. I will see you guys next week. I love you. Bye.